Uh-oh. Yeah, it's very late. But I'm not doing a reading today, so it's not, you won't miss much. Hello, everybody. I was trying to get it to where. Oh, thank you, sweet darling. Now, this is on the phone, so I'm going to miss a lot of y'all's comments because it pops up and then it goes away. It doesn't stay there like it does on the computer. I am wide awake. Hello. I was watching MSNBC earlier. No, I'm not doing readings today. This is just for my deck tour that I was going to make a video about. So this is going to be a very long one. So if you have to leave, that's perfectly okay. It's going to be very long because there's a lot. This thing is filled with cards, and I have three of them. It's like filled to the brim with cards. There's cards all in here. They're all in there, and I have three of those. And I said before that this was sitting inside of. Hi, Kathy. This was sitting inside of a little metal stand. I don't know if I still have it. I think I do. Yes, I do. But it broke. It broke underneath the pressure. because there were so many cards in there. So they're just kind of sitting. No, I haven't actually started. I'm not doing readings. See, I'm just doing a deck tour. I have 90 of them. And I have two more on the way from Russia. They should be here next week. And then I'll show you those. What's my favorite? I'll tell you. So we'll get to it. I'll tell you. Then I'll show it to you. 90, yes. 92, technically, because they're just not here yet. Well, thanks for coming by, Princess. They just aren't here yet, but I have 92, but I'll show you the 90 today. And like I said, this is going to be a long video, so if you want to come back to it, you come right ahead, but it'll be a while. But I'm awake, so I was like, let's do it now. I was going to wait until next week until I get the other ones, but I don't want to wait. I wanted to do it now. Yes, the card connoisseur. Lena calls me the librarian. Somebody did email me, and they had pictures of a deck, and they didn't know what the deck was. They was like, you might know, and naturally I knew which deck that was. Because I've seen most of them. A lot of them. I won't say most of them. There's literally hundreds. Somebody emailed me they have 200. I don't even have 100 yet. They have 200. I have 90. They have 200. I can't even imagine having 200. I can imagine having 92 though. How do I connect with them? They're just, I don't know. They're all based upon the same system, and so it's kind of easy. It's like just meeting the same person with a different hairstyle. They're all the same thing. They just look different. That's all. So I'll start with this one. I had that one out. I have 2 oracles now. I'm going to try to get 3. But one of my people on Patreon, if she's in here, she has this one. She was doing a reading for me, and that's where I first saw this one. It's called Influence of the Angels Tarot. Like I said, this is going to be a long video because I'm going to flip through some of the cards and show them to you. If you can see without the glare. There is the Death card. Ace of Wands, but there's angels in all of them. Hierophant. And so this one is very very well done. That's the back, so it is symmetrical in case you want to do reversed. There's one. The next is the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. There are actually 3 tattoo tarots in the world, so if you're looking for a tattoo tarot deck, you have to specify, because one is called 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot, and the other one is called Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition. And the other one, I don't know what it's called because I didn't buy it. But the Ink and Intuition one is one that looks like this. Give you some very playing card vibes to it. Even this is the back. It's symmetrical as well. But it's nice. This one is a bit more elaborate. This is the back, so it is symmetrical. But there is the images here. Now, with some of these, you have to pay a lot of attention because the words are not like written. You know, some of the cards, for for instance, with the Ink and Intuition deck, the name of the card is written on the bottom, bold print. You can see it. But this one, it's inside of the card, so it's like the Knight of Pentacle. So you have to really pay attention to what the card is because it's art. It's written inside the card. This one, most people complain when they get tarot cards like this that this doesn't say confusion. There's no real, I guess, fluidity with the veracity, with the Rider Waite. It's just kind of wands thrown on a card instead of trying to show somebody this means burden and hard work. But it doesn't bother me because I know what the card means, so it's just kind of easy to keep it going. But those are the tattoo tarots. Now the art in this one is really nice though. These are the tattoo tarots. There, like I said, there is a third one out there. I just don't have that one. So it's 3. This one, I have, I think, 4 decks by Ciro Marchetti. And that's who made this one. His decks do kind of run along the same thing. Like they sort of kind of remind you of the other one. Simply because they're digital art. And they're not really outside the box type things. Wherever I did with them. There is 1 and 2 and 3. So he has, I have 4 of his decks. And this is the other one. I have 4 of them. These are all by Ciro Marchetti. He makes Oracle decks too. He makes all kinds of stuff. But they kind of run about the same as far as image-wise. But this is my very, very, very first deck. This is the one I learned how to read with. As you can see, it's quite worn compared to this one. This is the new version. I don't use this one as much. I use this one for personal readings because there are 2 sets of court cards in there. And the reason there are 2 sets of court cards in there is just for more clarification in the reading. And this one, like I said, is my very first deck. It's called the Gilded Tarot. So it's very nice though. It's one I learned to read with. And this one is called the Grand Lux Tarot, or the Tarot Grand Lux. This one I had the hardest time trying to even get because I seen it on Amazon, and so I ordered it. And it said, okay, take 2 weeks or something. You know, Amazon got the 2-day shipping, and I got the Amazon Prime and all that. Said it would take 2 days or 2 weeks shipping. I'm like, fine, whatever. I'm not in a hurry, and like I'm going nowhere. So after the 2 weeks was up, they said, well, no, after like a week was up, they said, well, it doesn't seem that the seller is going to put anything in the post. So we're reversing the charge and canceling the order. I'm like, fine. But I looked back on the website, and the price of this has gone up, and the date has moved back. I'm like, okay, so now what? So I tried to order it again. The price went up again, and I'm like, what is really going on? And so Amazon sent me an email talking about rate your transaction. And when I tried to rate it, honestly, it wouldn't let me do that. I'm like, well, it canceled me twice, and the rate's gone up time. So, oh, you can't say that. That's mean, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, Ciro Marchetti. But I love the images. They're very, very nice. But he has a lot of, they're very digital art, very computerized images. So if that's not your thing, then these won't be, but it is symmetrical. So you can do reversed. But that's the Tarot Grand Lux. And this is the Tarot of Dreams. This is by Ciro Marchetti as well. I hate this. I hate when your cards come in two stacks inside the box. But that's just one of those small, minor complaints. Now, these are the books that comes with it. I don't read the books. Now, why should you read the book? The book tells you, based upon where the artist was coming from, why they drew what they drew. So that's why you should read the book. Why I don't read the book is because I'm not as concerned with the image as some are. I just really need the name of the card and we can keep it going, which is why I have some decks in here that have very, very minimal drawings on them. So there's that. And like I said, these are very computerized images. It is symmetrical, so you can do reversed. I think he remains conscious of that. There is an LGBT deck coming. I think it's coming the next year, though. Lisa. This is my last one by him, called the Tarot of the Divine, or Legacy of the Divine Tarot. I'm trying to read that backwards. But like I said, I don't read the books, but they could. This is a big, nice, thick, giant book. There was a lady here. Her daughter was trying to learn tarot, and she's not good at it, she said, because she doesn't have a book. I'm like, I literally have 90 books. Why didn't you just tell me you needed a book? I can just rip one of these damn things out and give it to you. Some people. Not to mention, I could teach you how to darn read them. But whatever. So there is his images here. And again, it is symmetrical. But they're very digital. But they're very vibrant and pretty as a result of that. So there's that. But he's got really, really nice ones. So there's there. This one, I waited on this one. Waited and waited and waited on this one. Do not know why I am so drawn to this deck. But I am, and I bought it. It's called Tarot of the Little Prince. And here's one of those things why you should read the book. Because he's a pilot. He's got his little scarf on. There's a lot of plane imagery in it and things like that. I don't know why that he's a pilot. Don't know why there's a fox in every card, but I don't really care. So I didn't read the book. But I'm really drawn to this. It's just, I don't know why, but I am. And when I first started buying decks, I was very picky. And then my tolerance began to expand. It's not symmetrical though, so if you read reversed, it might be a problem. But I didn't like illustrated images like this. Like I didn't like what I call cartoon imagery. I didn't really care for that. I liked the Ciro Marchetti type stuff where it was all vibrant. Because mind you, my very first deck was one of his decks and it's computerized. So that's what I liked. But this one was just very, I don't know, it's just different. I liked it. But I didn't like decks like that before, like the Rider-Waite. I hated the Rider-Waite. The Rider-Waite, now the original Rider-Waite I still don't kind of like, but I really hated it because it just seems so dated and old and just, But every single deck I have is based upon the Rider-Waite system, but I just didn't like it. Yes, it's very like nighttime story. I just like it. This one is called the Urban Tarot. I seen it one time and I didn't buy it. I don't know, Tiffany. I really don't. That is something I thought I could answer a long time ago. I was just going through the images, but I've learned to stop trying to answer what I do. Like people say, how do you know which card to pick? I think, or I thought I just pick them at random, but it's one of them things. It's like I don't know. It happens. I see a deck, I like it, I buy it, and then next thing you know, it speaks to me when it gets here. But we will get to the ones I don't like. Um, La Petite Prince. Okay. So the Urban Tarot. I seen it and I thought it was interesting because it's I think it's based upon the Toth deck or something like that. I forget. But the images are very different. Six of Pentacles, if you can see that, it says success at the bottom, and there's somebody getting their shoes shined. So it's very interesting. It's very modern, but oh Lord, why go away? There you go. So now, mind you, there is the tower. Yeah, I see. There's the tower. It's the Statue of Liberty is underwater, if you can see that. But it's like I like it. I don't use it a lot. No, I don't like the top deck. But it's weird. I don't know. It just the images really changed and the names change. And I used to be really bad about. I don't want a deck where the names change, but I kind of softened on that too. The Prince of Cups, that type of thing. Call it the Knight. But in this one, you can't call it the Knight because there is a Knight in here. The Knight is now the King. So it goes Princess, Prince, Queen, Knight. So I don't know, but it's just very. Now, here's something about trolls and people who go to your video just to click the thumbs down. They actually help, even though they don't know it. They actually help because YouTube knows that people will click on a video just to hit thumbs down. Therefore, the thumbs down don't actually hurt the video. The thumbs down, they count as engagement. So thumbs down and thumbs up are exactly the same. When you click on the video, that's all they care about. They don't care if you liked it or if you didn't. The only thing you can do to hurt a channel's videos is don't watch them. That's it. Other than that, if you click on this video, even if you're trolling, if you click on this video, you have helped my analytics. Thank you very much. As this other girl says on YouTube, keep watching so I can pay these bills. That's it. You still help. All they care about is that you clicked on the video. You can thumbs down it all you want to. It means nothing. Morgan Greer. This one seems to be a favorite of a lot of people. It is symmetrical, so you can do reversed. Now, the reason trolls do hurt is because they disrupt the chat, but other than that, you go right ahead. But these are I've seen these once, and this was part of the I don't hate it, so buy it thing. Like a lot of these decks I got simply because I don't hate them. Like some of them out there in the world, I do not like whatsoever. Like the Toth deck. I just don't like the Toth deck. So I didn't buy it. The very dark color. I really like them though. But this is one of those ones where I just didn't hate it, so I bought it. This one I do not like. It is called Guardian Tarot. Now, when I seen it on Amazon, I liked it. When I seen it in person, not so much. Like this is the back, so it is symmetrical if you do reverse. I did reverse with these before, simply because they fell everywhere and I just left them as they are. But they're tree people. And like it's they're not awful the way you buy clothes. They're just different, is all. And I just don't really care for them. I seen them online and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. I got them in person. I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. No, thank you. One of my favorites, because y'all know I like shiny. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the pink one because it's literally called the OK Tarot though. It's a bunch of drawings on pink cards, really. But you'll see that. The Ethereal Visions, like I said, this is one of my favorites. I do like the imagery on it too, though. But I do like the shininess more. And they do glimmer and shine because there's the gold foil on them. They don't have it here, though, which I kind of like because the gold foil here tends to, when you're shuffling and you got that gold foil stuck on your finger here, it does kind of cut a little bit. But there is that. And it is symmetrical, so you can do reversed. But I like the imagery too. Like they did a good job even with that. So this is a really good deck. And it's a good deck for beginners if you like pretty and learning at the same time. Like you can just get what that card means by looking at it. But this is actually one of my favorite cards in the deck because of all the imagery back here. So I like that one. Ethereal Visions, that one's called. You see how long this video is? It's 30 minutes, and I'm still on the first one, and it's not even empty. This is going to be 5 hours, and we're going to be here till tomorrow. At least I'm going to be here till tomorrow. You can watch it on the playback. Hang in there for as long as you can, and then go to bed. So this one, the True Black. This one, I posted an image that's in here, and a lot of you hated it. I take no offense to that anymore because I don't draw the cards. I just like them, okay? But y'all said it looked very demonic. And I'm going to show it to you again because that's what we do. But these are very interesting cards. When I seen them online, I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with them because they're very interesting. They're very unique, but they were a little too unique to actually be of use. But I bought them because I was like, oh, why not? But this is very velvety. Like they don't slide. They stick a lot. Like they really stick. But anyway, this is the one I showed you all in. And you just hated it because you said it looked demonic. Now, the reason I showed it to you in the first place is because I actually threw this away. Because I was doing a reading, right? And I'm just, you know how I go through it. I'm kind of going quickly as I do. And I pulled this card. And I'm like, why do I have this in here? And I threw it away. Now, mind you, because this card is called Destiny. There is no card in the tarot called Destiny. So I'm like, okay, I'm throwing it away because this card, as with a lot of the other decks, come with extra cards. They come with one called like Supreme, and like the Fountain deck comes with called the Fountain. So this one came with one called Birth or something like that. I threw it away. I thought I left one in there, so I threw it away too. This. I'm like, this is one of those extra ones called Destiny. Throw it away. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And so when I was looking, I don't know what made me look it up, but I'm like, wait, I just threw away the Wheel of Fortune card. And so I contacted the artist or the creator of the deck, and he sent me another one. So, but they're very nice. Yes, there's a constellation in the circle or something. I don't know what it is exactly, but it looks like it. But the deck is really nice. But you do have to pay attention because, yes, that is the Two of Cups. Because there's two. But what is that? That's the Ten of Wands, but you have to look down here at the bottom. This is not the deck you get if you got bad eyes, like I do. It's like the 10 is way down here, but it's written in black too. He was really serious about his true black. And then there's the 5 of coins, and there is one in here that confuses me. Like, I think that's swords. So, because those look like little scythes or sickles. So, 5 of swords, 7 of swords. But all of them are sort of black, white, and gray, gold. But there is one or two images that have red in it, and they really stand out. It's kind of like there's one, and the other one I think is the Temperance card. So it's a very interesting deck. It's like $75 though. But even with that, that's not even my most expensive one. My most expensive one is actually one of my favorites too, so it was worth it. This one, I don't have the box anymore, so I went and bought these little bags from Amazon. This one is called the OK Tarot. It is symmetrical. The true black is symmetrical as well, in case you want to read reverse. And this deck is by the guy who created it. He said that he really wanted to make a deck where anybody and everybody can learn from. I don't think this is the one. Personally speaking, I don't think it is because it lacks detail that sometimes can help a person with retention. And so if you have less on the card, it's kind of less, or it's less likely you will remember what it is. And so when you look at that, it doesn't really jog the memory of what it is because there's only 6 pentacles on there. What does 6 pentacles mean? But if you see the little kids down at the bottom, and then some guy's got pentacles in his hand and he's giving them out to the children, you can now sort of jog your memory. Oh, that means sharing. This does not say sharing. Now, I got them because I like them. I don't need all the detail because I've been reading forever, so I know what they mean. But sometimes it does help in your explanation to have more of a meaning or more of a image than just 8 wands on a card, especially if you're not familiar with Roman numerals. But I do like them. They're just real different. Tarot de la Nuit. This one's Tarot of the Night, I believe that says. It's 4:46 where you are. And hot. Oh, you can keep that heat. We got winter over here now, finally. Thank you, winter. They are symmetrical. This one I just broke down and got it. I didn't really care for it when I seen it, but it's not horrible because, like I said, a lot of these, or I just got it because I didn't hate it, and that's this. Um, they're just pretty people on a card. There's the tower. It doesn't really tell you doom and destruction with the tower, but most of them are women. The only men in the deck are the kings. And it's just pretty people on cards is all. It's a graphic art project. But the criticism that this deck draws is that it doesn't really keep with the Rider-Waite system. Like the Two of Swords is about an indecision or an inability to make a decision. That doesn't say that. So this is, for a beginner, it's not a good card, but they are pretty. Which is pretty much, I guess, all they really need to be. This one I got from a random website. And I didn't even think it was a real deck because Master Tarot deck didn't sound real. And then the images look kind of like the Rider-Waite. So I'm like, is that even real? But it was real. Let's see. They're just, they're dreamy, is what I always refer to them as. And I'll compare it so you can see. Like this is the sun in the Master Tarot deck, and it just looks very. So they kept with the image, but it has like a haze to it, so it looks kind of dreamy to me. I say because they didn't really defer too much from the image; it just has like a little dreamy effect to it. So that's I do like those, but it's not symmetrical. If you want to read reverse, but you still can. I mean, you can't really tell that much. But I like them. Different version from the Rider-Waite. This one, a lot of people ask about this, and this one also, for those who've seen my post about that Etsy.com page that was selling or reselling cards, this is one of the ones. This one cost me like $22. That person selling them for $39. So if somebody said they were reporting them too, I didn't because I'm going through all that. But they are reselling cards, and the original creator of these decks are not selling them on that page. So that person is basically taking them at a cheaper price, jacking up the price and selling them to people. But I get this one a lot of times that I use this deck and I don't tell you which one it is. Without fail, someone will say, "What's the name of that deck?" And it's called Mystic Mondays. Very prism-like, but I like it. It is symmetrical, but I like it. Very colorful, and the colors is what drew me into it. But it's neat. I like the creativity. How you got 90 different artists on that. I don't know what Mystic Mondays even means, but yes. This one is called Tarot of the Moon Garden. And every card has a little garden on it of some sort. It is symmetrical. This is one of the ones, or suggested this to me. I bought it because I didn't hate it. So it's not really a favorite or anything. But the images are quite simple. But it gives you that deep, dark forest vibe, though. There's a Ten of Wands. Ten of Staffs is called here. But every card is sort of framed in this. But they're nice. Now, when you go out, when you go on Amazon, the first thing that I do is I go and look at the worst comments. So I go to the 1 star, 2 star. And if I'm looking for something specific, if the only thing people are complaining about is cardstock, then I'm going to buy it. If you're complaining that the seller took too long or that this and this and this happened, then okay, then maybe not purchase that one. But cardstock, I don't care nothing about cardstock, so I won't even be commenting on that anymore. But I do like thin cardstock because of the way I shuffle, which this is one of the thinnest. This is also one of the card decks that I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I want it, I don't. I want it, I don't. I want it, I don't. I like the gold, but the stencil look of it I didn't like so much. And then when I got it home, opposite of that Tree People deck, I loved it. This one is called Golden Thread Tarot. I can't see what y'all can see because this is on the telephone. So, but this is the stencil one. But it's very nice. I like it. And the Eight of Pentacles doesn't mean work. So they stayed with the Rider-Waite system. It is not symmetrical, but you can still read reverse on that, I think. But that's called the Golden Thread Tarot, and this one's not from Amazon. This one is from that person's website. I actually seen it on Instagram. There's a Instagram channel called Indie Deck Review, where they review independent decks, or basically just show them to you. They don't really review them. They just show you to them, or show them to you, and so that's how I got that. This one reminded me of the Morgan Greer, and I liked it, so I got this one as well. This one's called the New Palladini Tarot. And it's really nice. And I love the background, because, I like red, and it is symmetrical. Should you choose to read reverse? I don't read reverse because I don't think it's necessary, but there's nothing wrong with reading reverse, though. But because I do have one deck in here that I'll show you now, called the Spirit Within Tarot. And the Spirit Within Tarot are basically shadows. But this one is symmetrical. But as this is the only one I have that is in reverse. But I love the shadow play. I like that. By Stephen Bright. Got his face all in the thing. This one, okay, so this one is called Night Sun Tarot. Not Night and Sun, Night Sun Tarot. I got it because at the time that I was buying tarot decks, I was only buying the pretty ones. And I'm like, well, I need one that's like different. I don't always want to be beholden to pretty decks. This is the one that it's not symmetrical, but I think you can still do reversed on that. I don't know what that means because I don't read the book. But it was different when I was looking at the pictures the first time. But when I got it home, it's like I don't know if I like it. And right now, I still don't know if I like it. I don't hate it. Hate strong. Like the Tree People deck, I don't like that one at all. But I don't hate either one of them. But it's really strange. Like there's a lot of vines, there's a lot of eyes everywhere, and there's a lot of eggs or cracked eggs in the picture, and I'm sure we'll see one. But it's in every card. There's a lot of vines. There's probably an eye here somewhere, but you'll have to look for it type of thing. There's that wand again. But it's really weird. I don't hate them, though. They're just different. There's Justice. It's kind of a futuristic feel to that, but it's I don't know. They're just different. They're not awful, but is this my go-to? No, it's not. It is not. But this was my break from the pretty decks. That's why I got it. This one, myplayingcards.com. Someone was trying to, one of y'all, thank you very much, was telling me how to get this done basically, and I just didn't feel like doing it. So you can go on myplayingcards.com and create your own deck. And that's what this person did. It's not symmetrical, but it's fine. That's the back. But basically what you do, you go on myplayingcards.com. You find 78 images, and they'll put them on a card for you. My problem is I went through, I had 78 images all lined up. I put them in the thing, and they all said low resolution. Low resolution means that when they put them on the card, it will be blurry and it will be pixelated or whatever. So I couldn't use it. And I went through all that time picking up 78 different images. On the second go around, I picked twice as many because I wanted two options, and it still was messed up. So I said, forget it. So they just took images offline and put them on the card. There's the Hierophant. These are photographs. But it's very interesting. I think I've used this deck over here once. This was the deck that I sort of, what do you call it? I designated to that Oracle channel I have. I have a second YouTube channel called Apprentice Oracle where I only do Oracle readings for like life and spirit and all that type of stuff. And so that's over there. That deck was over there for the longest time, but now I use it here from time to time. This one's called the Crystal Visions Tarot. This is one of those ones that I just got because I didn't hate it. It's got pretty interesting images. I don't know what's going on the back, though. It looks like a piece of bubble gum trapped in a painting or something. I don't know what that is, but I hate it. Now, they do have some very interesting imagery, too. Like that Eight of Wands with the horses on it, but the horses all have horns, so that's where the wands come in at. But it's all right. Almost an hour. Still on the first one. Now, granted, these have all the little decks in there. That's why there's so many of them in here. The other ones are like these big boxes. So one of these you will never, ever, ever, ever see me use. I just have it because I didn't know what I was buying until I got it. Where'd it go? Am I looking at it and I don't see it or what? What is this? That's not it. Where you be? Did I take? Oh, I took it out. That's what I did. Okay, so never mind. There is one. This is the Book of Shadows Tarot. There are two of these. This volume 1, volume 2. There's two of them. Volume 2 is this one here. It is symmetrical. The volume 1 is called As Above, and the volume 2 is called So Below. As Above, they took all of the major arcana, like the sun, the star, the world, all of that, and they changed the name for pagan gods. So you get Samhain and Malbon and all that type of stuff, Yule, pagan holidays, pagan gods, things like that. So they changed all the names. So you had to pay a lot of attention or read the book, memorize it. I didn't feel like doing all of that, so I don't ever use that one because every single name has changed. This one is not that. This one is basically the Rider-Waite. But I've used it before. And so it's just, it's confusing. I didn't want to use that one because I don't, when I get a deck that's based upon the Rider-Waite system, I know the Rider-Waite system, I know the names. If you change the names, I have to pause in the middle of my reading, and you know how quick they can go sometimes. And so I don't want to have to pause just for that type of thing. This one's called Tarot of the Celtic Fairies. This is one of those other ones that I have just because I didn't hate it. It is not symmetrical. But you have to have you some good eyeballs in if you're going to watch this one and look at it. Because the lettering is very small. If it'll focus. It's very small. And they all have little fairies in them. But the lettering is very small. The images and the detail, they have a lot of it's dark though. There's a lot of detail in it, but it's very dark. It's not the lighting in here. This is a very dark card. And so you have to really be looking when you read this deck. Because it's a lot going on in there, and there's like a giant aspect to it, as in you got the fairies and their little bitty people, and then you got the big giant ones in the background, like that. That's a child and a little fairy, so there's that kind of aspect to it. So this one was, for whatever reason, one of my absolute favorites. It's called the Aquarian Tarot, and I like the faces. And I like the sort of bleached out faces, and they got like a little hint of color. It's not symmetrical, because there is, this part is dark, that part's light, but I think you can read reversed on that pretty well. But the images have a very pastel look to them. This is when my tastes were really, really changing. Because remember I said I love the vibrant. I like this kind of card. I don't like cards that aren't vibrant. I even have a video of me saying that. I don't like videos. I don't like cards that are not vibrant. And then I get this one. And this is just, I love this. I love the color in this. And this is not really my thing because it reminds me of like the 70s and this sort of black and white screen that everybody had on these orange, bright colored pants on TV. So it's just, but I really like this. I don't like the wands, but That's the only complaint I could have here. I love everything else about this deck. It is absolutely one of my top three. So much so, I'll put it there. That way we revisit that. And then after that, me talking about I like vibrant imagery. I got a black and white deck. This one is another one of my favorites. It's called Bianco Nero Tarot. And it's got black and white imagery. And I love them. So they're really, really neat. I like this one. What is this? Oh, well, let me show you this too. So I don't like the classic Rider-Waite. So I seen this one. Not only do I not like the classic Rider-Waite, I don't like the classic Rider-Waite plaid thing on the back either. But the more I would watch Jen and Sienna, because that's the one they would use, I was like, I don't know, the Rider-Waite is kind of growing on me, but I still don't like that plaid thing on the back of it. So I found another one, but then I found one with really bright imagery. So this one is called the Radiant Rider-Waite. And so the images are the same, they just got more color in them. So I like these now. This is the one I did or used for the tarot class and all that stuff. So there's that. This one's called Wheel of the Year Tarot. And it was another one I just seen. It's not symmetrical. But it's another one I got simply because I don't hate it. And so I bought it. But it's got pretty interesting imagery. It reminds me of a lot of other tarot decks. The Gay Tarot one looks like this too. Has that animated imagery and the whole bit. So these three are in a series. Oh Lord, where's the other one? It's probably over here. Yes, it is. Because I only got these two in the beginning. One's called Thelema, and then the other one's called the Arcanum. And this one, I was like, well, it's just basically the same as these two, so why am I going to get it? Well, eventually I got it. So here is the Millennium Toff, Thelema, and Arcanum. They all come from Los Scarabeo, I believe. And so they do sort of run the same image-wise, kind of like the Marchettis, so they are symmetrical. But I love the imagery in it, though. These were actually what kind of spoiled me on decks, actually. Because I'm like, tarot cards can be so beautiful that I don't want. I like those. I want the pretty cards, and that's what kind of did it. This one's also symmetrical. And you can see they sort of run about the same image-wise. Trying to put this in here right. This one still has the book. But it is symmetrical. But they are very beautiful cards. Like if I was to make a tarot deck, it would look like this. If I had my choice. So those are those. The Golden Universal. This is basically the Rider-Waite with gold on it. Y'all know I like shiny, so that's where we went. And does it have a different background? But there is gold, shiny gold on this one. You can see that. Now, the complaint that I would have is they didn't fill out, it's kind of broken gold, because you can see there's spots in it. That I didn't care for so much. There's like spots missing in the gold. So that, but it's not a big deal. I still like using that one. This one, the Luna Soul Tarot. I like the imagery on most of the cards, and so this was a must-buy too. It is not symmetrical. But it's very cartoonish. And it reminds me on something like Adult Swim, to where you got these sort of adult cartoons with a bunch of inappropriate jokes and that type of thing. But it kind of gives me that it gives me that feeling of it. And so I don't know why that's funny, but it is. But I really like this. And I will say I seen people who were not all white, so I said I got to get that too. So I like that one. Universal Celtic Tarot. This one just came out not too long ago. And there's the book. Throw these away. It is very nice. And I wouldn't call that symmetrical either, but you can read reversed on that, I think, pretty easily. But this is like the tarot of the fairies. That the imagery can be a little small, so you got to really pay attention. But it is nice imagery nonetheless. You see that. I like that one. There's one card or one deck in here. Actually, it's coming up next. Where there's a card in here that the reason I bought the thing. Now, also, for those who are familiar, there is an app on your telephone called Wish, where you basically buy stuff directly from China, and it costs you $1 a lot of times, $3 for shipping, so $4 for a whole item. That's where this came from, actually, too, from Wish. This was $7. So they have a lot of tarot decks over there, but you're going to get basically a knockoff version. Like, this is the size of the card, and then this is the size of the deck that they send you. It'll be like a fraction of the size type of thing, because it's like a knockoff version. But if they don't care, if you don't care about that, then you can get this same deck for like $8. But I'm going to show, there it is. It is symmetrical. But this is the one you see Dr. Victoria use a lot. Excuse me, Dr. Victoria Scarabo from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center up there in Massachusetts. She uses this one a lot. And the images are very, I don't know. The word warped always comes to mind when I see this. When I use this deck. And not warped as in weird thinking, but just as in there is the image and then it like warps. But this is my favorite card in the world. And I first of all I like the moon. I love the moon. I love the pillars. I love the water crashing. Like I want this on the wall. Like I want a big giant portrait of this. And so I love that card. And so for that entire deck is the reason I bought because of that card. This little things like that do it for me. And here's another example. The Robin Wood Tarot I bought simply because of this. That is the most gorgeous background I've ever seen in my whole life. And so I literally bought this because of that. And so I love that color. I'm not even a green person, but I love this color. But the deck is also nice too. Good colors inside the deck too. It is one of those ones that you have to pay attention because there is no other word. It's just a 4. So you have to know this means swords. So it's one of those things. I think he's the king of wands. Oh, that's the magician. There's the tower. But yeah, you'll have to pay attention because there's a 6 of Pentacle, but you'll have to know that that's what that is. The Wheel of Fortune is very Brady Bunchy, and I like it. I like that one. Oh, there's a reversed card in there. There's another one. And another one. And another one. Anywho. So there's that. One hour and it's still not empty. I was going to record this. I did actually record one part of it, and I was going to chop it up. But I was saying, you know what? I want to do it live. And then y'all can sit here and watch with me, and then go to sleep, wake up. I'll probably still be here. The Gothic Tarot. There were like 2 or 3 Gothic Tarots out there, but this is the Gothic Tarot by Joseph Vargo. It is not symmetric. Oh, Lord. It brings me joy. It's not symmetrical, but there's the cards. It's very dark, very blue. You know, it is Gothic. I think the other Gothic tarot has a lot of vampires in it, or maybe this is the one. But I like the aces in here too, and they're all kind of just plain, but I like the color. Here's the Emperor. Good night, Lisa. I'll be here probably when you wake. Who knows? Oh, these are symmetrical on the back. This is called the Archean Tarot. I actually don't know why I bought this, but I did. The background reminds me, I don't know why, but like an action movie poster with something like exploding in the background type of thing. But they're very, I mean, they're good cards. I don't really hate them or anything like that. But there's no real, like, deep connection or deep reason why I bought them. I just did. I don't hate them. This one I seen on Llewellyn.com, and I seen it and wanted it, and it was not available because it hadn't come out yet. And then, like, when it came out, it said, oh, it's released. And I was like, why did I want that? I don't know, it was adorable in the beginning, but in the end, it's like, I don't know why. But then I bought it and I'm like, okay, it's okay. This is the one with the little rabbit in it. It's not symmetrical. But it's tiny. And I don't really function well with tiny cards with big giant elephant choking hands, so it's like, you know. But they're all right. This is another one that Dr. Victoria Scarable from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center up there in Massachusetts. This is another one she uses a lot. And it is symmetrical. But this, I said this before, this deck is better for in-person readings because, well, it's fine for here too, but there's a lot of detail and stuff going on in that card that it's hard to show you on a camera. But you don't really need to see it because a lot of us, and I know I do this, and I know some of you do this because you told me, you don't actually watch the reading anyway. You just turn it on and then you listen to it and then you're doing something else at the same time. And so you don't really need to see, but there's a lot going on in there. But they are really nice. Like, and they were like $20. I would have paid more for these. I watch sometimes. I will say sometimes I don't. I just, because I look and do other stuff. Because I don't need to see the card, I guess, because well, I read them all day. So. This one I seen on Etsy.com, and I love the brown. I love the earth tones in it. Anima Mundi, which I believe is just called Animal Spirit or Spirit of the Earth or something like that. But this one is very nice. Independent card seller. I don't know if I even say that, but but I love the earth tone. It is symmetrical. But I love the earth tones in it. And it's all animals. The only human in this deck is on the devil card. They're all people. Or all animals, I meant to say. But I love the browns, the use of browns in the earth tone. For some reason, it just like, it popped out to me. Even though it's dark colors, it just popped out to me. This one, called the Good Tarot. This is the one that person is selling for $39 over on Etsy. They're calling it a vintage tarot, is what they called it. Vintage tarot. This is not a vintage tarot deck. This came out when? Doesn't matter. It's not vintage. But when you look at it, you can see where they got that from because it kind of looks old. Hi, Queen's Tarot. It looks old. And so they were calling it vintage and then selling it for $39 when it's like $20 on Amazon. You can get even cheaper for that if you buy it used. This is definitely not vintage. But this deck is symmetrical. I love the back. But this deck got a lot of criticism because it's called the Good Tarot for a reason. Is the person who created the deck did not want the negative aspects of tarot readings or tarot cards to be portrayed in their deck. So they gave everything a positive spin because the tower can mean doom and destruction, or it could mean tearing down something that is no longer useful or it's time to move on and then starting something new. So they just put a positive spin on everything. This is the devil. It's called temptation instead of the devil. And the Eight of Water is usually being abandoned, but the ship is appearing to come their way instead. So I guess you don't have to leave anything behind. There's the moon. On the moon is a lobster, a wolf, and a dog, which basically means it's a series of evolution from the bottom feeder to the hunter. Hold it down to the Eight of Swords. Where'd that go? See, this kind of thing I really don't like. What is it? There's a woman in a line, which makes me think that's strength. Why couldn't you just call it strength? But that was a lot of people's concern, is that it's not negative, because I say there are no such thing as negative cards. All of it is just information you must deal with. I need to tell you the truth, otherwise you won't know what you need to fix or address. But there's the tower. There's no doom and destruction there. It's all beautiful and light and shiny and bright. So, I mean, but I like it. They're gigantic, though. Like, my hands don't even fit around there. They are gigantic. When I first got them, shuffling was impossible. This one, the Hanson Roberts Tarot, is kind of tiny in comparison. But it's one of those ones I got because I don't hate it. That's the back. I do like the back, though. I like that color. It's symmetrical. There's that. And then they do, some of these have listed in different languages what that card is. But they're nice. Good imagery. So it's nice. So this one I like as well. I like the color and I like the imagery. Bye, Nancy. It's very soft color, but I don't know how to explain that one, but it is symmetrical too. But I really like the color scheme. It's nice. The Fenestra Tarot. It's nice. I like that one. I used it a lot for me personally when I first got it. This one is called the Neo Tarot. I threw away the box because the box was unnecessary, because it was a big giant box and then this was inside it. It's like, why do I keep lugging around the giant box? Throw that away. This is what I call my Golden Girls tarot because they got on the Golden Girls pantsuits. But it is symmetrical, so you can read reversed. But those pantsuits, though, I like the, I like the cards. But they definitely got their pantsuits on. But it is interesting. Which there is a Golden Girls tarot coming out next year in May, and I am getting it. This one is called the Cosmic Tarot. I bought it because of the profiles of the court cards, which I absolutely love. There's the back. It is symmetrical. But I love that. Like, that is really cool to me. I like those. Now, all of them are a little, now the Ten of Swords is a little different, but I do like it. But all of the court cards have that profile, which I think is really neat. That one's called the Cosmic Tarot. What is this? Oh, the Silver Witchcraft Tarot. I liked it online and then got it in person and then, like, I still like it, sort of. What I don't like, it is symmetrical. What I don't like is that pedestal. I don't know why it bothers me, but it does. Because in all the major, it's in there. They're all on a pedestal. It's like they're in the middle of a shopping mall or something. I just don't like the pedestal. And I don't know why the devil card is an old tree, but I'm sure it said it in the book, which you know I don't read. But they're not all on pedestals. So they are nice cards, though. Interesting strength card. Now, I did have somebody ask me, because I was doing the tarot class, how can you teach tarot if you've never read the book? Well, how do you watch this channel if you don't think I know how to read tarot, first of all? Second of all, I've read one book at least. That's how I know what I'm doing. I don't read them all because I don't want to. It's not necessary. I don't need you to tell me that the Seven of Swords means exactly the same that the Seven of Swords means that I read it the first time. So Universal Fantasy Tarot is kind of like the Tarot Illuminati. It's got a lot going on in the image. But they are nice. These just came out not too long ago. That's hideous, but these are nice. Now, that's a very interesting Empress card. I think she looks like a big, I don't know what that is, like a big snake creature or something. So I don't know. And I don't know how you painting someone portrait is burden, but maybe it's just hard work, because that's what the Ten of Wands also means. And then here is that one with the weird beaks. So it's quite strange, but for some reason the strangeness of it speaks to me a little bit, so I like it. I liked it a lot. This one I love to pieces because, you know, I like gold and things that are shiny. It's called the Botticelli. There's the back. It is symmetrical. But there's gold on it, if you can see that. There's gold on it. And this is not broken gold like that golden universal tarot. The images are really... I used to not like this business going on, all the different translations of the card, because it was distracting. But I don't see it anymore, so it doesn't bother me. But they're really nice. Now, I charged my phone before I came out here. What are we at? Okay. Because that's what's going to end it, is when the phone dies. There's 4 left in here, y'all. La Grande. Circus and Sideshow Tarot. It is symmetrical, so you can read it reversed. But you do have to pay attention because the entire word is not on there. Because it's 6 of swords, but it's got the 6, but you'll just have to figure out the rest. Don't know why the ace has it on there, but the 6 does not. Queen of Swords, there's the bearded woman. Queen of Wands, a little concession stand. So it takes the aspects of the circus and puts them into the tarot. Some of the images can be a little serious, so it's not completely. This one, the Druid Craft Tarot. This one is really nice. It's very large, though. The card is very big for comparison. It's very big. But it's symmetrical. They are really nice. And I like big cards because when I'm holding it up for you all, it just feels better in the hand to have like a big portrait to show you. But they did change some of the names in here. They changed the name of the devil, and I think the name of Judgment or something like that, or Temperance. Which Temperance and the devil are usually changed anyway. They'll call one Temptation, or they'll call it... in this deck, it's some sort of god, I think, or some sort of being. Here is the Egyptian Tarot. I got simply because I don't hate it. I mean, the only thing I really don't like is that it's the whole hieroglyphic sideways things. I don't know. It bothers me sometimes, but that's fine. I got it because I don't hate it. And it is symmetrical. But it doesn't, this is not a beginner deck, I don't think, because like I said, sometimes you need 6 of Wands is like the celebrated person. This is a celebrity. This is victory. This doesn't say that in this card. So for those learning tarot, I don't suggest this one, but if you love Egyptian imagery, hieroglyphics, that type of thing, it'll work for you. So that's what I got that one. And there's like 3 different Egyptian tarots, so, take a look at which one you want. 1 left, and then I have 2 more over here. Oh, that's a shame, but it ain't a shame all at the same time. This one's called the Illest Tarot. This one is one somebody said, I don't like that one because it's distracting. Listen. Now, I said back in the day, good night, Queen. Back in the day, I said, don't talk about my cards. If you don't like it, you don't have to. But I don't care. Talk about what you want to. I'm going to use it anyway because this is my stuff. So here is the Illest Tarot. This is the one that has celebrities all over it, so they say it's distracting, which I understand. Now, mind you, it comes with a little book to let you know who all these people are, because most of them I don't know. Well, actually, it doesn't come with a book. It comes with a folded up piece of paper, actually, is what it is. But I knew who that one was. That's Beyonce. That one is Courtney Love, who battles addiction. So she's on the card for addiction, which I think is a little mean, but it's true. Life is that way sometimes. Now, the only complaint people had was that the pip cards with the minor arcanas called pip cards don't actually explain what's going on in the imagery. There's just seven swords there. This doesn't say anything about sneaky or hidden plans. So, Mary J. Blige. I don't know who that is. I kind of know who this is. Is that Reese Witherspoon? Somebody tell me if that is or not. I think that's who that is. But all the pip cards just have little regular stuff. Reese Witherspoon. Okay, good. Like, I don't know who that is. But like I said, it comes with a book to tell you, or a little piece of paper, who all these people are. I think that's Katy Perry with no hair. He's from the Disney Channel. That's all I remembered. That's that, and I know who that is. There's Kurt Cobain, only because I looked it up. But you get the drift. Oprah's in here. Alanis Morissette. Mary-Kate and Ashley. Erykah Badu. So they got a nice range of people in here. I don't know who that is. I used to know because I used to have the book. I don't know. I forget what her reason was for choosing the people she chose. But like Oprah is the King of Pentacles. Instead of a Queen of Pentacles. So anyway, it's called the Illust Tarot. No, I do not. What is it, the Hobbit Tarot? No, I don't. I don't have that. So let's put all that back in there. And then we'll move to number 2. It's like trying to get all your groceries back in the cart. You got them in there the first time, but you don't know how you did that. I wouldn't even bother with this, but you know. And I'll pre-count it, there is 90. Now, I'm going to go to 100, and I have 4 more that I'm going to buy. One is next year, though. That's the Golden Girls Tarot. Bye, Shannon. Good night. Thanks for coming by. And one is called the Printer's Tarot or something like that. The other one's called Shadowscapes. And I forget what the 4th one is. But after that, then I need 4 more to make it to 100. And I haven't picked those yet. Oh my goodness. My arms are tired just from doing That's a shame. They don't even fit in here anymore. How did I do that? Okay. So I'll leave those other ones out of this. Oh, sweet Mary and Joseph. Okay. Hour and a half for one. Number 2. Now these are big boxes, so it's not gonna. What is this? Oh, this is the gay tarot. I ate beforehand. This is they're all of the queen cards are replaced with men, and it is gay tarot like it suggests. I've seen this one on Twitter actually, and that's the back. It is symmetrical. There's Lover's card. This is the Queen of Swords. That's another thing that I used to hate about cards is when they changed the name of the court cards, and then I had to look it up. This one's called the Guide of Swords. So they have the, what's the page? I forget the page. Anyway, there is a page of swords there, a page. So they got the page, they got the man is the knight, they have the guide is the queen, and then they have the sage, which is the king. So there's that. There's justice. They did change a lot of the names to sort of reflect the culture, I suppose. Instead of it being, well, let me see if I can find it. Youth, that's youth is the other one. So it's youth, man, guide, and sage. Don't know why. I also don't know why the King of Cups is in a boxing match. That's completely opposite of who they are, but anyway. But you can see the victory is like the gay pride parade. There's the Hierophant, called the priest. This is the Empress, called intuitive. Okay, so there is the Devil card. It's called self-hatred in this one. And this one, instead of called judgment, it's called beyond judgment. So I just changed some of the names there. And instead of the tower, it's called revelation. So yeah, there's that one. I seen that one on Twitter. I was like, yeah, I gotta have that one too. Okay, so big box time. This one, the box that it came in was pure trash, so I threw it away. But this one was the Mary Kay? Not Mary Kay. What's it called? I'm going to call it Mary Kay, but it's not Mary Kay. It's a box that I forgot what the name of it is, but it's symmetrical. But it's really nice imagery. That's reversed for some reason. Where are these reversed? Just go a second. Hi, Renee. Working with Anna Kay. Thank you. I'm glad when people know stuff. What did I say, Mary Kay? I ain't got no damn sense. I rename something in a minute. It's a family trait. We all do it too. My boss from work was called Christine. My brother, without fail, calls her Charmaine every time. That child's name is not Charmaine. So the Visconti, as I call it, Visconti. I got this one. I don't really count this as one of my decks because it's not a full deck. It's just the Major Arcana, which is only 22 cards. But I have used them before. They do work very well, but I got them because it's golden. Now, mind you, I did not realize that it was only 22 cards when I bought it because I didn't pay attention. But it's really nice. Hi, Cheryl. It is going well. Just showing y'all my hoarding spirit over here is all. This one, there is a YouTube channel for it too, called the Elf Goliath Tarot. I love these. They are very interesting. Like you can tell he put a lot of work into his deck. My most expensive one was $85 or $81, called the Afro Goddess Tarot. It's actually cheaper now. She's put it on sale. But this is the El Goliath Tarot. They are quite large. Like quite large. They're the largest cards I have. But they have a lot of fantastic imagery on it. Like this is the Five of Pentacles, which is about hardship, and you can see that the starving horses and the crows ready to pick them clean. Like there's really, I've loved this card. Like a frog among the fly traps, he's got the advantage. That's what the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is like a harvest card, but I still love that. So these are really neat. Good night, Pauline. I like those. And it is symmetrical. You can read reversed. Very nice artwork. If I could be so talented, Jesus. This one still confuses me. I haven't really used it a lot. I need to use it more. Because the name change is not familiar to me still. Spirit of Wands, I don't know if that's Queen or King. I don't remember. I think it's Queen. I think. I don't remember. But anyway, this is another animal deck. It is symmetrical. I got it from Etsy.com as well. Very nice box that it came in. Like very, very nice. Comes with a little book as well. Which is where I do go to that book because this whole spirit, like the knights are called movement because that's what a knight does, is move something from one place to another, feelings or something tangible, whatever. But this one confuses me still. But, and they don't come apart very easily. Like they should slide out, but they don't slide at all. Because they're very stuck together. And someone said you can put powder over. I don't want to put powder on my cards. I have a deck here that has powder on it, and then it gets in my knuckles, and then my knuckles look ashy, and I ain't really about that life. Innocence. That's the page. I love this one. That's the Emperor. They're black and white with like hints of color. So you'll have one thing in there that's color. And the spirits. That's the Knight. But they're nice though. Yeah, I like the dark ones too. Yeah, I can't deal with the ashy knuckles. But I like it. This one is called the Celtic Tarot. I liked it online and then got it home and was like... Now, online, you know what? I'm going to show it to you. Hopefully my whole channel doesn't get canceled because of this, but I'm sure they complained because of the nudity in this deck. But it is nice, the cards itself, like the symmetrical, but they do have really nice imagery. There's a chariot, two of swords, so it keeps with the right of weight. Like it's really easy to understand. Two of cups. This one's really nice. But this is the one they complained about. Because it was very unnecessary. And so when I do readings and I pull this card, I don't hold it up for that very reason. Might be considered graphic, even though my channel is not for kids. That's a little much. And they weren't saying they mind the nudity, they just mind that it was in that proportion. It's like, it's supposed to be art. You're supposed to, sort of Michelangelo David him, not, porn star him. But, whatever. This is the Pagan Tarot. It is not symmetrical. And and this one is about it's about like cults and things like that, and witches and covenants and things that of that nature. Online, there's a lot of people who say they get it home and they don't use it because it's too dark. And I just kind of think if you buy something called the Pagan Tarot, something in it might be a little dark. That's just me. But I flip through it and I don't really see the darkness of it. But then again, I like darkness kind of things. So, like I have a deck coming from the one I get from Russia. One is about angels, the other one's about death, called Faces of Death. And it's truly, it can scare some people, but I love it. I like that kind of stuff. I'm saying it should. But I like the images though. Oh well. It's a neat book. It's in color too. The book, that's a common theme. This one, the weird one, Solabuska. This one was around before the Rider-Waite. And they drew a lot of their... This one has a weird picture in it. Well, all the pictures are a little weird, but they're just products of that time, too. One thing. Because this is the Rider-Waite just drew some inspiration from here, but it is not a complete copy. So you can't say they were copycat. They just drew some inspiration. Now, there are some images that look exactly like, yes, but I wouldn't go as far as saying they copied. They just, well, you'll see. Some of them are exactly the same, but we won't go there. The Rider-Waite did its own thing for society. Where is it? Is it in here? I think it's in here. It's not in here. That's the pink. And it's in here. So let me see. Okay. So most of y'all, if not all of y'all, are familiar with the Rider-Waite cards, so you know what those look like. But the Solabusca was created before the Rider-Waite, but they are not complete copies, like I said, but they do draw inspiration, sometimes direct inspiration, from this deck, which I will show you. So here is the Ten of Wands, right? Now, why you're reconnecting me, what happened? Is it still on? It's on. So this is the Ten of Wands. This is the Ten of Wands, so it is not the same. However, in the Solabusca, this is the Ten of Swords. So you can see the similarity. But this is the swords, this is the wands. Now, in the Rider-Waite, keep in mind this is the Ten of Swords. This is the Ten of Swords in the Rider-Waite. So they just drew inspiration, changed it up, but this is the wands, that's the sword. This is the Queen of Wands. This is the Queen of Swords, so you can see kind of where they were going with that. The Queen of Wands in the tarot faces forward, so it's not a complete copy, but you can see where inspiration came from. Because, yeah, there's the Queen of Wands. She faces forward. I was going to show you this, too. This is, I don't even, their major arcana and the Solabusca are just weird. Well, weird for me because I'm not used to that type of art, but I guess it's not really weird. Wouldn't be fair to say. This is Temperance in the Rider-Waite. This is Temperance in the Solabusca. And so, not a complete copy. This is about healing and sobriety. This looks like he's about to die. But it's Temperance. 1414. And they didn't use the V. There's 4 tick marks there. But, again, there is the Three of Swords and the Three of Swords. So there is some copy. Now this one, I don't know what's going on in this picture. Because his business down here is very weird. So this is very strange art. You really have to, I don't know. But there's the back. It is symmetrical. They are giant cards too. They are pretty big cards. But they're neat. But they don't really keep with the Rider-Waite system, which is what I read off of. So this one is different. But I do use it from time to time just to keep myself familiar with it. The Dragon Tarot. I love dragons, anything dragon. There is another Dragon Tarot out there, but I don't like it because there's like one dragon on the card and it's facing this way, and then there's like 7 pentacles around it. So they didn't get very inventive with that one, so I don't care for it. But big giant book, not in color. The back is symmetrical. But there's dragons in it. And I got it just because of that. Basically got it because I didn't hate it. They're not the best. I would like to see more sort of graphic dragons instead of these like fairy tale type dragons. I'll take it. Because there are a little too many people in it for me. But when something is about a creature or something is about an animal, I would rather see more of the creature and the animal than the people. I would watch, and I still do. I love like nature programs and things like that. But when the nature programs way too many people talking in, then I turn it off. It's like I know they're explaining things, but I really would rather you narrate from behind the camera and then show the animal instead of you standing there pointing and saying, "This is what this is and this is what this does." I don't like that. One of my favorite shows is called The Big Cat Diary. Perfect. You'd see the host sometime, but most of the time it was on the big cats. The Orisha Tarot. This, yeah, they're all wimpy dragons. This is, uh, like the creator of this deck also makes like voodoo decks and things like that. And so it's sort of in that sort of same theme. A really, really, really thick giant, like this book is the thickest book that I have of any of these, but it is also in color. Now, I did not read it. I should, because most of the cards come with like some little food item in it. And I don't know what the food item is there for, but like I say, most of the time I'm not really concentrating on the image. I just want the name of the card. The images basically for me are because of variety. That's why I have so many cards in the first place. I don't like things always the same. If something's always the same, it drives me insane. I don't like it. It's like I need variety because Gemini minds are very scattered. So I need something different each time I do this. Like I came out here earlier today and did a reading. I did like 3 readings and I only used this deck. That's fine, but I would prefer not to do that because, like I said, I like variety. But they all have sort of the same color scheme, but they're very interesting imagery. And like I said earlier in the chat, the only reason I would ever read the book is to figure out why they drew what they drew, what their interpretation was. That is the only reason why I would read it, but then again, I don't really care all that much, so I don't read it. Because it's very weird. Well, I'll say it's very interesting. I need to stop saying weird because weird is subjective, but it's not weird, it's just different. So yeah, and you do have to pay attention because the word is in the card somewhere. So you have to figure out what that is because there's not 5 wands in here. Well, I guess there is if you look at the shadows in the back, but like I say, you have to pay attention. But a lot of these cards have a person with some sort of drumstick or chicken or something in their hand, or some sort of food that looks like tongue. I don't know what that means. That's the back. But I don't actually care, so I didn't look at it. I just noticed it. This is one of my absolute favorites, the Witch's Tarot. And I love the imagery. They did whoever did this? Ellen Dugan, she did a very good job. But I love the cardstock. People hate the cardstock because it is so thin. Like in comparison, this one does not bend all that much under slight pressure, right? This one does. Slight pressure, it bends almost in half. And I'm not even pushing hard, but slight pressure, it bends in half. So it's like feather thin. But I love it because it helps me shuffle. And y'all know I gotta shuffle. So. But it's not symmetrical, but you can still read reversed with that, I think. But the images are very vibrant. And it's a good deck for beginners. Because the imagery is still in there and the symbolism is still in there. But yeah, the cardstock is something people really, really, really complained about because it is very thin, especially if you're going to use it a lot. But I personally like thin cardstock, and I like a deck with that looks worn. I just do, and which is very strange because I don't like things that look old. Like you can buy brand new furniture that has an antique look. I don't like that. Now, if it's antique, it has the right to look antique, but if it's new, I don't want it to look antique. The classic tarot. I also love this one too. It's very vibrant. And that's why I got it, because the images, they really pop. The back is quite interesting too. But I like these. Like I say, I like computer digitalized imagery. And this is also a very good deck for beginners, as it does keep with the Rider-Waite system. But there's very nice cards in here. And I got this one from Llewellyn, actually, instead of, did I? I don't think I did. I don't know where I got this. Yeah, it was Llewellyn, instead of Amazon. Tarot of the Hidden Realm. I got it. This is one of those ones I kept flipping the coin on. Do I want it? Do I not? Do I want it? Do I not? So I just got it. Just get the damn thing is what I used to tell myself. And good night, Leanne. That's the back. It is not symmetrical. But I like the little gold color. It's not shiny, but I like that the difference in the card there, because the cards can be rather dark because they're earth tone, because this is about the hidden woods and the realms and elves and things like that. So it has that kind of look and that aspect to it. But I like them. They're pretty neat. They don't really keep with the Rider-Waite system, though. The Eight of Swords is about being trapped and bound. It doesn't really look like a trapped and bound type person, but they're nice cards, though. Big giant book. Barbara Moore does a lot of, I don't know if she's the writer. I think she's the writer. Yeah, art by Julia Jeffrey. But she does a lot of decks that I have. At least a lot of the interpretation. The Star Tarot. This is another one where I hate this. Where my cards come in piles of two. I don't know, this just seems like a bad design. Like either turn them this way or I don't know. Anyway, there's that. These are okay. I use these from time to time. That's the back, so it's symmetrical. But they're very, I don't know, Gypsy Rover came over the hill type of thing. So they're all right. I mean, they're not awful. They are kind of big. The Hanged One instead of Hanged Man. But it's, I don't know. They're all right. I don't hate them by any means, though, because the art is still pretty. I just don't flock to this one. That's all right. The Star Tarot, it's called. All right, that was two. Last one. Last one. Now, although I love these boxes because they're really good for bookshelves, which is what they're designed for anyway, I actually just prefer this because I have 100 of them and it's easier to store. But if you like bookshelf type things, and I don't put these on a bookshelf because I like them near me. And so, like, because if I'm going to do a reading, then you know how I do. I say sometime the deck chooses the reading, and it's hard to do that if you just pre-select it off the bookshelf. Because I need to be able to turn to it, grab, and say, okay, Spirit chose this one. Oh, Lord. This is a job. Well, thank you for coming out, though. I'll go to bed tomorrow, which is what I do. Oh, what's a lot of them in here, sweet Jesus. Okay. So, these two came from the same same shop on Etsy, and it's called, this one is called the 78 Tarot Elemental, and this one is called the Global Art. No, it's not called the Global Art Collection. It is a Global Art Collection. This one's called 78 Tarot Mythical. And what happened with this one is they got 78 different artists to come together to make one deck. So each one of them drew their own card. Actually, I think this one comes with 81 cards because it comes, well, both of them do come with 81 cards. And they got like a card for spirit and chakra. And this, I don't use those, so, because they're not tarot cards. So I had to throw them, well, they actually still have them, but I actually only have them because I was going to save them to show them to you, and then they're way in there, and I'm not good enough to go get them. So there you go. But this one has 78 different artists. So I'll show you the some of these. But if, okay, there's the back, so it's symmetrical and it is shiny. If fluidity is something that you desire in a tarot deck, this is not the tarot deck for you because this is 78 different artists. So they all have a different interpretations and drawing style and all that. Like you see, this is, the color in this one is quite different than the color in this one. One looks like it was made perfect with the computer. The other one looks like color pencil, which both of them are still fantastic. They're just completely different renderings. Here's a Chariot. But they got some amazing artists, that's for darn sure. The Six of Swords is about a transition. So some of the cards don't leap out and tell you what they mean. So it's not really a deck for beginners, I think. But if you are an art enthusiast, it is definitely a deck for you because there's 78 different art styles here. So that is the 78 Tarot Elemental. And these cards are quite large. And this one, and they do come with their book, and they tell you, you know, and for the color book and about the artist and so forth. And this one I really like. Now, mind you, when you're shuffling, this is what I say about the gold on this side too. It like cuts into your hand a little, not cut, but you know, you can feel it digging in there when you shuffle. The back of these I love. I love that color scheme, and there is some shiny gold on there too. And here's those cards. And the artist's name is down there at the bottom. If it'll focus. Not important, but there you go. But these are neat. And there's 3 of these total. The other one I didn't want, but I do have it saved. I do have it though. So I might get it. You know how that goes. All right. The Line Striders Tarot. I do like it. You can see it in person. It's easier to read in person. It's just I can't get the phone to cooperate. I like this one because I like the white of it, the white background. I hate the back of it though. It looks like an ink blot test or some kind of brain experiment. I don't like that. But I like the cleanness around the card with that just sort of sketch in the middle. I like that. But I love the art here. And it sort of keeps in, this is celebration, celebrated person, promotion. So it sort of keeps in line with the Rider-Waite. But I love the just white around there. It looks very vibrant to me. I like using those. Especially when they have a white table and it's just nothing but the image stands out. So I like that. That's why I got them. This one I seen on Soul Speak Readings, which is another tarot reader here. I actually did a reading with her too, if y'all remember. She just got this one, and I just got this one because I seen it on hers. I actually seen it before, but I just didn't buy it, and then when she got it, I was like, yeah, I gotta have it. I do that sometimes. With the Urban Tarot, I did the same thing. Once Tallulah got it, then I got it. Back is symmetrical. The images are nice. It's a good beginner deck too. Very good job on the art. And it's good cardstock too. Like that's under slight pressure. It's not bending at all. They are kind of larger though. They're taller, I should say. But I like these. Tarot of the Golden Wheel is that one. This one is like the Tarot de la Nuit. It's just pretty people on cards. This one's called Chakra Wisdom. There's a color book, so it will tell you about the different colors and why they used it and things like that, because the different colors represents a different chakra. But that is these. But it's a graphic art project. There's just a bunch of pretty people on cards. This one is called Chakra Wisdom. But it's very vibrant. That's why I like the color though, which is why I got it. There's the back. It's not symmetrical, but you can read reversed with that, I think, pretty easily. But the thing is, some of the cards keep with the Rider-Waite and some of them do not. Like this is burden and hard work and perseverance. Doesn't really say that, but this one does say indecision. So some of them keep and some of them don't. That's the Chakra Wisdom. If you were asking about the one before, it was called the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. This one, every time I log into Amazon, this stares me in the face. I'm like, I don't want it because it's just herbs. It's called the Herb Crafter's Tarot. And that's all it is. There are no people in here. There is nothing on the Six of Swords to tell you it's the Six of Swords to make sense. It is symmetrical, so easy reversed. It's just herbs. This is the Hierophant. Now you do have to get used to that as the Madre of Air, which is the Mother of Air, or the Queen of Swords. I think they got Adelita, Hija, Madre, and I forget the other one. But they changed it. There's the Eight of Swords, which is trapped and bound, but licorice is what I call licorice. Golden Seal is the Five of Water, which just means, yeah. And mind you, it's one of those ones, I got it because I was tired of it looking at me. And then I looked at it that day, the day that I bought it. I looked at it, I was like, I'm not getting that. It's just herbs. It doesn't even make sense to get that because I'm not into nature like that. So I'll look on Tallulah's Tarot and she got it standing up on her table. I'm like, get the damn thing. So I got it. But it's neat though. Like, it's not bad. It's just, it was herbs. It was apple, so herbs and stuff like that. But here's the cannabis card is the justice card. So I just got it. I just got it. I just got it. I just got it. The Mermaid Tarot, which is flopping around in there because the box is janky. The Mermaid Tarot. There are, I think, 2, maybe 3 Mermaid Tarots. So if you want a Mermaid Tarot, the one that I have, this is the box, and the other ones don't have like Mermaid of the Seas Tarot. No, they all say Mermaid Tarot. So there's that. By Lisa Robertson, though. But these are neat. I love the imagery here. I love the how they illustrated what's going on. No, I've never returned a deck I didn't like. I only don't like 2. That was that Tree People deck and... Was that the only one? Oh no, it's coming up. The other one I don't like is coming out too. And so luckily I only don't like 2. But I love the imagery here. It's all mermaids, but I love the fact that they illustrate things though using, like this is Strength. She's rescuing the whale from the net. These are reversed. Or is it all reversed? The Eight of Cups, she has to leave them because she's going back into her fish mode, like the Little Mermaid. I think the Three of Swords, the mermaid's crying over the dead whale. So I love how they use that imagery to illustrate the cards and their meanings. Why are these all reversed? I don't know. Guess we're going to have another reverse deck. Because I ain't flipping them all back up. Okay. So this one looked at me and looked at me like the herb crafters. Hi, Color Lens. And I'm doing a deck tour. I'm on the last few. Let's look at a bunch, Lord. Anyway, Everyday Witch. I looked at this one and looked at this one and didn't get it because it seemed a little too. I don't really do theme decks like the herb crafters, where it's just a bunch of herbs, and where this one is all cute little witches in the thing, and like I didn't get the Halloween deck because it was just too cutesy and themish. But I like this one though. Once I got to look, what I did was Google it because Amazon only gives you like 3 pictures. I Googled it and then looked at a bunch of different pictures, and I like it. And it's neat. And it's like, yes, it is themed, but at the same time, they have male witches too. So at the same time, it's also it's nicely done though. Like the art is nicely done. It's not too childish, but it's not dark as in what you would think people's aspect of witch is. But it's not symmetrical either. So there's that. This is the one, that one and the tree people that I don't actually care for. I think was that you that told me this was based on the talk or something, but I don't like when you change all the names. And this one changed way too many of them, and it's really little to me in small cards. And then they just jumped right off the table. They say, you don't like me, fine. I'm going to throw myself on the floor. But these are the cards. They're like water paintings, which is what it says in the book as well. Like little water paintings. This one's called Zilich Tarot, or Zilich. You going to change your name? Okay. But here's another thing. Four of Cups is not luxury, but it says luxury here. And so that was another thing that was like, I don't really care for this. So I don't use this one a lot. I use it off camera when I just want to like play with the cards, because I have cards in my hand all day long. So when I just want to do that, then I'll use these. But if it ain't that, then I don't use them at all. So this one and the tree people don't get much use. But it's just little water paintings. But I thought it was neat online. Then when you get it home, it's a whole different story. Like the strength card, the woman and the lion is called lust in here. What strength got to do with lust, I don't know. This one. Hi, eclectic. This one, I seen. It's all of $5 on Amazon, and I'm like, you know what? Just as a bow to the OG Clio, I have to get it. So I got it. We are good. How are you? And she was a real tarot reader. She was a real shaman, but she had a fake hotline, and that was where her downfall was. But these were the cards that she would use. Yes. These are the ones that she would use, and how could I not buy them? I don't really like them, but I bought them. I don't like the shape of the people. It's a very they just seem to have a very odd shape. But I had to get them. Well, tarosapprentice@gmail.com if you want to email me. So, my favorite, the Afro Goddess, and it comes in a red, that red pouch that I now kind of came. It comes in this. So her presentation is fabulous because you know that's everything. It comes in this. This also has like a textured feel to it. It feels kind of velvety soft, but this is velvety soft. But it comes in that. She signs and holds that. This is the inside. So she did some hell of some work on this. This is $81, I think it was. It's cheaper now if you go to Etsy.com and look it up. But it's fabulous. And they are rather large though, so if you have smaller hands, do beware. This is the one with the Oprah card. They are kind of large. But of course, you know what drew me to it is that there had a deck that portrayed African American people. And she kept with the Rider-Waite system. And all of these her own original drawings. And she makes a Lenormand deck as well. And once I learn Lenormand a little well or a little better, I am going to get that too. So there's that. Now, there was one person I seen, and I didn't comment on their comments. There's the Oprah card. I always say that reminds me of Oprah. I didn't comment on their comment, but they said that they loved the deck, but they found it strange being an African American deck, and all the people have blue eyes. If you can see that. And what I believe is actually going on, there it is. It looks like they have blue eyes. What I believe is actually going on, because if you look at this one, it's not blue, it's dots. So I think what she did was put the universe in their eyes and not blue. Because in the devil card, there's little dots. It's little dots, and this is my favorite card, and not a blue color. So it looks like the universe is in their eyes and not a blue color, because this one's red. But I don't know. This is what it looks like to me, because it just looks like a bunch of little stars in a black background. There's another one. White House on fire with the tower. So yes, there's that. The Oprah card meaning is about regret and sorrow. That's the Five of Cups. Regret, sorrow, sadness. This one have you got a copy of Luminous Void? No, I do not. What was that name again? Because there is... No. This is by Tina Gong. The person who made this one made a Luminous Tarot too. You just ordered it? Oh, they went away. See these YouTube comments on the phone? They flash for a second and then they disappear. Something about you ordered something. I couldn't see what it was. Okay, so this one is called Ancestral Path. I hate this. This is horrible, but it's not symmetrical either, but you can read reverse with that because you don't really pay that much attention to that. It's called Ancestral Path. The images are fantastic. Phenomenal imagery. This is the World card, which I love. Eight of Wands. They represent four, and I threw away the book. But they are big. Like, they're wide too. Yes, that is actually why that's my favorite card, because she's licking the blood off the sword she used to stab them in the back. Ruthless is what that means. Ruthless. But they are, yeah, they are great for the camera. Okay, the Afro Goddess. Yeah, I contacted her because some people were telling me that it was sold out. And so I was like, do you still have some more? And she was like, yes, I do. And so I tried to pass it on to y'all. There is four different cultures represented in this deck. And there's Nordic, I think Japanese, African, and Native American. Hi, Patty. So, yes, there is that. And they got the wands and all that. Okay, so the Pentacles is called Sacred Circles. Thank you, Patty. And this is the Native American representation. So all of the Pentacles have Native American theme. All of the swords, I believe, have a Japanese theme. And then all of the wands have an African theme. And then all of the cups have the Nordic theme. Now, I call it Nordic. I think they called it British or Britain or something. They called it something. I just can't remember what it was, but I don't have the book. But they are fantastic cards, though. Like they do well on the camera. They don't do so well for the space on the table, but they do well for the camera. But I seen these first time I seen them, I bought them. This wasn't one I had to go back and forth on. So, I said this one, the Zillich Tarot or Zillich Tarot, the Tree People one, the Guardian Tarot, I think is called, and this one. So this is the third one that I can say I don't really care for. I did too. That's a nice tarot card. I don't know. I won't say I don't like it, but it's bizarre to me because I'm just not used to. And this is all this giant box is for this darn book. This book is huge, and then it's not even in color. What did you do that for? But anyway, the Mary L. Tarot. Now, some people knocked it because, like, this doesn't say work. This one, actually, I felt that I liked it when I seen it. I was like, some of the images in here I really, really, really care for. I like them a lot. I think it's the Knight of Pentacles, which is like a big bear. Or a wolf or something. I don't remember because I don't use this deck all that much. But it's just a weird, bizarre deck. And it has nothing to do this one. I love that. And it's just, if I can get the glare off of it. I don't know what it has to do with Knight of Wands, but yeah, I love the gold. Two of Swords means indecision, but what that is, I don't know. The Lovers, they did keep with that one because it's kind of hard to mess that one up. It is definitely not a beginner deck. But this is why I don't use it that much. Like, what in the hell is going on here? That's the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Pentacles is the same thing. Like, this is half goat person. They got boobs and a penis. I don't really understand. This one, the face is scratched out. I don't know. This one is like gratuitous nudity as well. So, why? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. So, some of these images I loved, like the big bear one. I didn't see them all until I got to flipping through, and then I'm like, what in the world did I buy? So, this one, the Zillich Tarot and the Tree People Tarot, I don't care for. And so I use them very. Now, oddly enough, Jen Lynn says she loves this one. And I can't. It's just strange to me. This one, yeah, I have 4 Marchetti ones. We did those earlier today. The Everyday Enchantment Tarot. This was back in the day everybody's favorite one. Oh, the Gilded Tarot. That was my very first card, or my very first deck that I ever had. This is also one of these big, giant, unnecessary boxes because there's a big, giant, unnecessary book. It's also split in 2. And they are large. Like, very large. And I hate the background just because it's too busy. Like, one card, fine. But when you do this type of thing and it mess around, have some epilepsy going on. So, I like his Lenormand too. But the cards are awesome. They're very modern, so it's modern day. Sort of modern day. This is early 90s, really, but modern day enough. You can't let your kids play outside no more, but that's there's that. They're really neat. Now, one of my favorite cards in here, they don't come apart easily, though. I like that one, too. She's brokenhearted. There's a picture of the guy on the wall, the whole bit. Am I covering it up now? I do love the multiculturalism in it, too. So that part is really nice. Nope, they do not at all. Like, I don't ever get called to pull this out. I don't ever get called to pull out the Zillich or the Tree People one. At all. I use them on purpose. Simply because I have them. So there's no need in them sitting there. And I don't ever use them. But no. That was that one. I pointed this out before. Fresh Today for Sale. I don't know what Fresh Today for Sale is. Yeah, I love Tallulah's Tarot. We are going to do another, what's today? That's what I was trying to see. Pardon the finger all on the thing. Wednesday. Okay. We are going to do another, Saturday thing too. Like the Hierophant teaching of religion. Seven of Cups. So it's very modern. And the two cards I'm looking for. Of course, they had to be way at the beginning. I like the temperance, moderation, sobriety. They want, probably something fizzy to drink, and she's trying to give them fruit smoothies. It's like, cooperate with me. There's the Emperor. Like I say, I like the multiculturalism in there. I love this card too. Sunday is with Jin Lin. I'm going to do a live stream with Tallulah's Tarot on Saturday. Or the celebrity ratings we do. How this guy is washing his car. Because he's the same age as these kids back here. They're laughing at him because he's taking his Saturday morning to wash a car. But he's got money in his hand. They're out riding bikes and frolicking away. So I love that card. This is the one I was looking for. That's the strength card. Someone in a wheelchair. And I think she is like doing fire dancing or something, but she still has her strength. So yeah, I love these cards. I just don't like the back, but that's all right. So there is that. Oh, I still ain't done. Mercy. So this one is the Deviant Moon Tarot. There was a reader, she ain't put anything on in a while, called Habits Tarot. She would use these a lot. These are tall cards, taller than normal. And love the imagery. This is the borderless edition. If you ever get these and you don't know which one's which, this is the borderless one. There is a story that comes with them as well as to why he used these. I have 92. The other two are on the way. I'll get those next week. And I'll debut them in a reading. Because I was going to wait to do this. I was actually going to make a video about all this. And just split it up into a bunch of parts. But I was like, I actually want to go live, but I don't want to do the readings right now. So I'm going to do this. So I have 92. I have 90 with me here right now and 2 on the way. They'll be here next week via Russia. But I love these cards, though. It took me a while to get them because I wasn't really drawn to this moon business. But it reminds... This is probably the worst recollection in the world, but they remind me of Mr. Rogers. And the reason they do is because there was a puppet he used to have that had like really red cheeks and like this long nose. And every time I see these things, I just think of her for some reason. Like his puppets just remind me of these things. So that's what I think of when I see it. But I like those two, and it is symmetrical. Necronomicon Tarot is basically a deck full of creatures. Big giant book. Not in color, but need it to be. Priest, priestess, monk, scribe. Okay. It's not symmetrical, but it's a deck full of creatures and things like that. So there's a spellcaster. I love the shadow face in the background there. That's the Ten of Pentacle. There is another creature. So it's a sci-fi deck. There is another creature coming out of the water. So if you're into that thing, that would be for you. There's another creature. This is the devil. Here's, I think, another spellcaster. This is like a monster hunter or something like that. So I like these. They're very interesting. Some of them are a little strange. Like this could be the Seven of Swords. This is the King of Swords. Shows someone sort of sneaking in and out of a window. This is the Sun. Supposed to be happiness and joy and contentment. But I really like those. They're very, very different. I like those. This one, okay. So a long time ago, there is another reader on YouTube. Shante. The other reader on YouTube was using these cards. And I'm like, oh, these are very neat. I love these cards. These cards are awesome. I love the imagery. The imagery is nice and vibrant. And the images are nice. They're keep with the right of weight, so blah, 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 blah. I really loved them. And I said, what is the name of this deck? She said it's called Spellcaster's Tarot. Well, it actually was not called Spellcaster's Tarot. This one is called the Witch's Tarot. This one that I was talking about. I said, what's the name of this deck? She told me Spellcasters, but it was actually Witch's Tarot. So I actually bought this one by mistake. Got it home thinking it was this, when it was actually this. So I opened it up and was like, oh, this is not the same thing. But they're very nice. It's not symmetrical though, but I don't think you really can pay much attention to the symbols. Yes, it is a happy accident. Because they are still nice. They're very nice, actually. Mind you, she has this deck as well, so that's how she got that confused. The only thing, I love this card, the snake shedding the skin and transformation and all that good stuff. The only thing that I can say is, I guess, negative about it is that the swords and the wands change element. So traditionally in the Rider-Waite, which is what decks are based off of, the Rider-Waite system, the swords are air and the wands are fire. In this deck, it changed the wands to air and the swords to fire. Now, she does explain, or he, or somebody, does explain why, but because they believe, because this is normally that element and vice versa. They believe swords are forged in fire, therefore this is a fire element. And then wand, I guess, gets air, because the pentacle is still earth and the cup is still water. Now, the reason I believe that is the swiftness of a blade is what makes it air, traditionally, and so forth and so forth. But they just changed the element. That's the only thing that I didn't care for, but it doesn't really change anything for me because I still know what the card means. So it's not a big deal. It's not even really a big deal for a beginner because, well, yeah, it is, because she actually did change the meaning in the book too. That I did read that book because I wanted to know why you did that. Okay. 4 more. 3 hours. Jesus. The Llewellyn Tarot. Llewellyn make their own tarot, as they should, being that they sell them. So there's that. 20 years, Karen. Or 15, 16, something like that. I just say 20 now because I don't remember. But there's the back. It is symmetrical. And the horned one, this is the devil. They're paintings, is what it looks like. They look like little paintings. But I do like them. They're very, I don't know, they're calming to me. They don't, it's not abrasive. The image is not abrasive. The colors are not abrasive. I like it. So this one, okay, so I bought this one from a bookstore. I forget the name. But I bought it from a bookstore. I live in apartments. And so the bookstore sent it out, but they did not send me confirmation they mailed it. They didn't send me a tracking number. They sent no corresponding email to let me know that they sent this out. It's called the Steampunk Tarot. And I bought it because I love the use of gears and technology that they weaved into the tarot. So I thought that was really different because I got this early on of me starting my channel. And so I thought it was really different. I really liked the images. They were really well done, so forth and so forth. But the bookstore didn't tell me that they even sent it out. So I sent them an email saying, I don't have a order number to give you. I don't have a confirmation number to give you. I don't have a tracking number to give you. I don't have anything. They said, okay, we refund the money. If it ever shows up, just keep it or donate it. I'm like, okay. So I went to Amazon because I really wanted the deck. So I went to Amazon and I bought it. And so I get the notification from Amazon that your package has been delivered. This does not fit in the mailbox down where we have them. Therefore, it was in the office. And so I go down to the office. I said, I have a package. She gave me 2 packages. I got 2 of these. The one from the bookstore was sitting in the office the entire time. I didn't know. The office doesn't call you and tell you got a package sitting in there because they figure you on top of your own business. So I sent that message to the bookstore saying I don't have it, but it was actually sitting down in the office the entire time. And then when I got the one from Amazon and was forced to go down there and get it, that's when I figured out now I have 2. So I did a live stream where I said, okay, I got 2 of these and I'll pick a name and send it to you. And so I did. So somebody out there has this deck because I sent it to them. I said all that to say this. Giant book, never read it. But it's not symmetrical. But all the stuff is listed on the back. There's a pentacle, sword, wand, cup. But I love these. But they introduce gears and technology, like the lobster is like a robot lobster. And so they introduced technology into tarot cards, which I thought was really neat since it's all, sort of old fashioned. I heard of that one. I don't think I've ever looked it up though. Yes, I have. Victorian Steampunk. So this one, White Sage Tarot. I think Gonga just got this one. I got this one a while back. Speaking of buying cards though. Okay, so here's another long story. So like I said earlier in the stream, I posted on my Sun and Moon Tarot, no, I don't have that one because there is a reason I don't have it. I think there are no names on it. There's something about it because I've seen it several times. I don't have it because of something. There's a reason I don't have it because I didn't like something about it. But anyway, so I posted on my post on my page that there is a person online on Etsy.com reselling tarot decks. Actually, they're reselling this one for $39 and it's like 22 on Amazon. I think it's 17 if you get it from somebody else. But anyway, because you can get it from Llewellyn.com too. It's going to cost you more because Llewellyn is directly where you get it. So you're getting it from the source, so you're getting it for more. But anyway, so this person online is reselling decks, so be careful on that. So also on Etsy.com is a deck called, I forget. I think it's Everyday Tarot or something. Anyway, there's a lady who runs biddytarot.com, Biddy. If you want to learn tarot for free, that's a good place to go because no, she does charge for some courses, but she's got all the meanings on her page too. So, but Bridget, yes, Bridget, but she runs biddytarot.com and she has a deck that she created. It's kind of like that Shadows deck that I have too. It's a real simple deck. It's actually real cheap. I think it's like $8.99 or something like that, so it ain't going to put you in the poorhouse. But it's also on Etsy.com too. And I went to Bridget's page on Instagram to ask whoever runs her social media, I say, do you have an Etsy account because it doesn't say Bridget? And she was like, no, all we have is Amazon or you can go to our website. And I was like, okay, well, they're reselling your decks over here on the such and such. And I said all that to say on her Instagram page, on the biddytarot.com Instagram page, was this card. And I love this so much so that I bought the whole deck. I'm like, I love that. I don't know why. And when I look at the rest of the cards, I like those too. Now they are little, though. I like very little. Me and little cards are just not the best of friends. But they're all little animals. There are no people. But they're neat. And I bought this whole deck for that one card. I just liked that ribbon. I don't know what it was. I just liked it. But it's called the White Sage Tarot. And it comes in a little tin. Last one, y'all. This one is called Dreaming Way Tarot. And this one also reminds me of Mr. Rogers. Because these people closely have those little bright rosy cheeks too, but don't like that. But whatever. The deck itself. Okay, Color Lens, to go back to what you asked me. Is there a deck that I don't like that calls to me? Okay, it's not that I don't like this one. It's not a favorite. But for whatever reason, I pick it up at least once a day. Because like if I'm just going to do some little, because I do a lot of readings off camera. They're just little non-important things like I seen, anyway. And I'll pick up a deck, it's always this one. If I go anywhere, I take this one. Good night, I take this one. I use this one a lot, and it's nowhere even near being my favorite. But the images are not bad, which is why I got it in the first place. But for whatever reason, it's like my best friend that I never call, but is always over my house. So it's interesting. Love the Seven of Pentacles. Shopping, shopping, shopping. The Empress. All the cups are polka dots. I use it a lot off. I've used it once or twice on because it's not really a favorite. I pulled those to the side. I'm about to show you those now. I've shown them already in the stream, but I'm going to show you the favorites right now. What I do? Oh, let's sit over here. Now this one, like I said, is my first, but it's not a favorite. But this is my very first deck. This is the Gilded Tarot by Ciro Marchetti. But these three are my favorites. These three. This one is the Afro Goddess Tarot, the Aquarian Tarot, and the Bianco Nero Tarot. And like I said back in the day, I used to hate the Rider-Waite simply because it was not vibrant. It was too washed out. It looked too old. I don't really care for old-looking things when it's supposed to be brand new, blah, blah, blah. And so I didn't like that washed-out look. No, not the steampunk. I didn't like the washed-out look of the Rider-Waite. I didn't like the plaid background or the plaid back of the Rider-Waite. I didn't like that. I didn't like none of that. But I got a deck called the Aquarian Tarot. And it is just that. It is very pastel, kind of washed out colors. The faces, I love the bleached out faces. I love that. But I love the pastel look to it. And this is that old color scheme that I just didn't like in the Rider-Waite, but for whatever reason they used it the right way over here. And next thing you know, I like all kinds of decks now. Like, it changed my perception of what I thought I liked. And then next thing you know, I got this and it became my favorite. This one is black and white. It's like, why in the world is a black and white? There's no color at all. How is the black and white some of my favorite? And yet it is. Because it didn't rely on color to be dynamic. It was still dynamic. And then, of course, there's this one. So I don't really have a ranking. It's either these are one and then that one's two. These are tied for one and then that one's two. But the rest of them, I just like. Now they're all my children, but I do have favorites. But I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more decks to show you, but they are not tarot cards. I have my Lenormands that I'm still learning. And my Oracle cards. Now, now there's these. Okay, so I have a second channel for any interested called Apprentice Oracle, where I use my Oracle cards. And I do that once a month. Well, once a month I make the videos and then they come out all at once. I make videos on what you should be aware of, what you should embrace this month, what you should run away from this month. Life advice. It has nothing to do with politics, nothing to do with celebrities, nothing to do with none of that. It's all about us and what we need to do in our own lives. So that's what that channel is for. is just for us. And these are the cards that I use. These, okay, so I'm a tarot fanatic, as you can see. I don't really like things outside of the box, which is very strange for a person who likes variety. But I like all the variety in the box. So I will stay in my comfort zone and then bring me all the variety. That's what I like. I don't want to venture outside of that and then have to deal with everybody else's variety. I didn't ask for your variety, I wanted mine. So I never got oracle cards because oracle cards were not tarot cards. I wouldn't even watch oracle channels because I like tarot cards. Like if you were doing some psychic reading and you didn't have tarot cards in your video, I didn't watch your video either. And so it's really like tarot cards, right? But I was on there and I'm like, you know what? I'll give them a shot. And these I loved because it had a perfect mixture of people and animals and things like that. Most oracle cards that I seen or came across were all women or fairies. And it's like I wanted something different. I wanted something a little more I wanted some more variety in your cards. I didn't want it to just be women and fairies. I needed to put a lion in there, or put a tree and just the tree, not a person in a tree, something like that. So you have a cheetah, an owl, and a spotted egg. So you can't really get much more variety than that. And so there's some people in these cards, but it's a lot, they're very pretty too. But it's a lot of other little stuff. There's a person. There's a person. But it's not all people. Yeah, I do see that from time that flag banners in a lot of them. It's called Wisdom of the Oracle. But I love this card a lot. This is a card about being humble as well, chopped wood, because just because you're not a mighty tree does not mean you can't serve. But don't think of yourself as the greatest and the best, because it's also a broom. This is something just used to clean, but you still need it. But I like this. I like this deck a lot. I like the variety as well. Like I said, this chopped wood is about being humble. There's a card that just literally says why, which means question everything. All that glitters, which means all that glitters is not gold. To be fair, which is like the justice card in the tarot, which is fair and balanced. Serendipity means everything falling into place, working for the greater good. So I really love this deck, and it comes with the book. And I, of course, did read the book because, you need to. Now, some people actually do not read the books that come with their oracle cards because they want it to sort of be in their own interpretation. So, and some people do that with the tarot too. Like, what do you see when you look at that card instead of what it means? Do what you do. This one took me 2 days to learn, which is a lot for me because this one took 2 hours. It literally took 2 hours because this is how I learned cards, not how I learned the tarot. The tarot was a bit different. What I would do with the tarot, just a quick story. I lived in California, and like our backyard was the marina of San Francisco Bay, where people would park their boats and all that. But there was like a sidewalk that people would exercise on and thing. It went for like 17 miles. And it just went around the marina. It was very beautiful, the California weather, blah, blah, blah. And so I would take my tarot book and I would just walk and then read the tarot book and then look at the card like the book said. And, that took me a week because I would do a few at a time. But that night I slept on them and they were all in my head. So they came to me. But this one, what I would do is I would look in the book. What does here and now mean? Actually, I don't remember. I only use these once a month, so I have to start looking it up too. But I would look at the meaning, write it down, look at the meaning, write it down, look at the meaning, write it down, and then I would mix them up and then see if I can remember what it means without looking at the notes. And then I would do that until I get to the bottom of the deck for every single last one. So that's how I memorize all the cards. Is I'd write it down and then I'd go back through it. Well, this one, I could not do that. It took 2 days because this was the most confusing hunk of paper that I have ever read in my entire life. In the entirety of my existence, this is the most confusing thing I have ever read. And so I'd pick up the image like I did with that one, go to the book, and I'm like, what the hell is they writing in this book? I couldn't figure it out, and there was a comment on Amazon which said it perfectly. It's like this person took every big word they've ever known to sound as deep as possible, and then it all came out as gibberish. I said, oh my God. Well, thank you for coming by. Good night. And okay, so there is this me? The images are nice. Let me show you the images before I get to talking bad about something. The images are really nice. They are very dark, and of course, one person said they couldn't stand it because it was a little too evil for them. And you can see it that way, I guess. Like, that is kind of dark, but it's called Dark Mirror, for God's sake. But the images are nice. The images are well done. And I do use them on the Oracle channel too. Okay, story time. So this is a breakdown. I didn't show you all that, but the first sentence: I cannot recognize myself, but I'm still me. Okay, I'm here, still here with you. I can't recognize myself, but I'm still me. Which means I have now changed. I don't know where I am anymore, but I am still the same person. In the inside, it's just... Okay, so moving on. A dark fantasy female warrior with pale skin is enshrouded by a scanty spiked bikini armor. She holds a fanged bat hilted sword against a background of fire and ruin. So that's the explaining of the image. Okay? This card is not about affirmation, but rather a question. Is this me? Can I recognize myself? Maybe yes, maybe no. But for sure, I lost the road I had once, comma, the last time I traveled. No, I actually put that in. That's not what that said. The last time I stopped to really think about it. Okay, so since I messed it up, let me read that again. Is it me? Can I recognize myself? Maybe yes, maybe no. But for sure, comma, I lost the road I had once. The last time I stopped to really think about it. So this is what I had to do. I'm like, okay, so is this me? This is one card. I'm still 10 minutes on this same dang card. I did this whole thing in like 2 hours. 10 minutes on one card. I'm like, okay. Is this me? The last time I stopped to check, I lost my way. Like, what does it mean? So once I read that whole paragraph, this is what I came to a realization. Losing yourself. Losing your true self. I had to extrapolate so much on my own that it took me longer to get the meanings, and I still don't have them because I'm confused. So every time I use these cards, I have to do this. I have to look at the notes. Total amateur. I should have this by now. I feel maybe like high school girl, and English is not their first language, obviously, but I feel maybe like the high school girl that went to the prom. But truly, I am now 45 and I weigh thrice. I feel my true self as the kid that wanted to play soccer, all the while punching numbers on an Excel file out in an insurance office. It's not necessarily something negative as a dream lost or corrupted. I could see myself as love is the most important thing in life, but actually I have a very well paid job that makes me travel and I sleep alone in hotel rooms. When did we last look at ourselves in a mirror? Do we like who we are? Do we like what we are? Make no excuses because the choices which made what we are our responsibility. Yes, that's how it says. And that's, yes. If an old dream is dead, it's time to dream anew. If the old dream is alive, it's time to get back to it. So being true to yourself. So you have to, like I say, you really have to extrapolate what it means. And that is one of the most simplest ones I could do. Now, as far as the clothes and the armor, I don't really know why. I don't know how losing yourself has something to do with this image because there's nothing to indicate that she was anything other than this. So I don't understand the whole. I don't understand the whole spiked bikini armor thing. Now there's danger in ruin in the background, so if it's called ruin, that means it once was nice, but that ain't what it says. But just take your word for it. So you make your own meanings up with that there one. So Lenormand. I am still learning these. Like I said, I know how to do the whole write it down, go through it, basic meaning. But Lenormand, okay, so let me start here. They told me, because I read the book, that Lenormand was easier than tarot. There are no hidden meanings. Tarot, there's a lot of hidden crap in here. Like, for instance, this is the Nine of Pentacle. The exotic bird is supposed to let you know she's rich. The Pentacles is supposed to let you know she has money in the bank and she's secure. She's in a brilliant, beautiful garden. So all of that is basically saying that she is well taken care of. Right? But these say that there is no secret meaning. So I believe them. And so I read them as basic cards, like the book says. And then I get people that said, well, you could try these books because they really go into the deeper meaning Lenormand has. And I'm like, the book said it was no deep meaning. And then you said, no, it's a deeper meaning to Lenormand. Here, read this. So yes, there is a deeper meaning to Lenormand. Deeper than I thought. But these are because I like variety, so I got these two. They're very tiny. I don't like tiny cards, but they're very tiny. And so I like variety, so I got these two. This one is called Under the Roses, Lenormand. And the meaning of the card is actually in there, but it's very, very, very faint. If you can see the writing in the background. Like all in here is the meaning. So there's keywords in there. chaos, mistakes, worries, anxiety, problems, stress. That's what the mouse is. Now, when I read the book, it said destruction. So you've got all this other stuff. So I know what they mean in the basic. The tree is health and security. The dog is loyalty. The cross is heavy burden, heavy road. Sometimes can be some destruction. The lady is, which I didn't like that part. Now I understand that traditionally speaking, the lady in yin, like in the in over here, there's a card called yin and there's a card called yang. Yang is the leader, the yin is the follower. The yin is a feminine energy and the yang is a masculine energy. So the masculine is the leader and the feminine is the follower. I didn't really care for that part, but fine. So the lady is the yin energy. She is, but it's a willing follower. This is not a person who's dragged along. But I still don't care for the follower energy being something that's characterized as feminine. So, but anyway, garden, there is public celebration, crossroads. Now, I don't know why when I first got this that I didn't think it would be like tarot, even though it said it wouldn't. I should have used my own intuition and said, you know what, yes, it's going to be like tarot. Because the garden is a public outing, a celebration outdoors. If you couple it with other cards, it could mean like marriages, 4th of July, whatever. And so, yes, there is a deeper language to Lenormand. But that's not what they told me. But that is now what I know. And when I stop being lazy, I will learn how to read them. And they did change some of the names, like there is one in here called, there is a, there's a card called Scythe. It's called Sickle in that one. And the tower is nothing like the tower in tarot. This one's about government. It's about businesses. It's about establishments, security with the bear, the rider. Someone's bringing information. Crossroads, life decisions, mountain, immovable objects, burdens. The moon is not like the tarot where it's mystery. This one's about karma. Bouquet. So if you get bouquet and garden, then means marriage, because this is a gift, and then that's or heart and something like that. So I have to study now, but I don't know. I don't feel like it. Good night. So last thing. So since I said I'm going to study and I now have memorized the cards, their basic meanings, and their pictures. I said, well, let me go out and find myself a pretty one. Ciro Marchetti has got one called the Tarot, not Tarot, I think like the Reverie Lenormand, something like that. But this one is by Thelema, which I showed you all my... Sweet Jesus. There is the ones who make these cards, the vibrant pretty cards. The ones who make those, the really nice looking ones, make this. So this one is very vibrant, very pretty. But what I really love about it is this, believe it or not, because this book tells me everything. For instance, there's the mice card. But like I said, these don't have the name of the card on it, so since I do now have the images memorized, I don't need the name. But this is why I said that that book lied to me when it says it wasn't a deeper meaning. And people said that that playing card, because this is why I never got Lenormand, because that threw me off. I don't read playing cards, but they said that didn't mean anything. This book has a meaning for it. This is like, oh Lord. So keywords: annoying, loss, waste, stress, and anxiety. Carrying around what does not serve you anymore, restless, theft, chaos, mistakes. That's a lot of keywords. A lot of keywords. Annoying, loss, waste, stress, anxiety. Carrying around what doesn't serve you, restless, theft, chaos, mistakes. That's 10. 10 keywords for this one card. There are 36 cards, 32 cards, something like that. So the energy is a negative. No. A no card. So if you're doing yes or no and you get this is a no card. So I have to know the energy. Playing card, that's 7 of clubs. Traditional meaning is beware of the opposite sex, avoid misfortunes, enchantment, and belief in the unseen. That's a lot. Not to mention, it's kind of, I don't know, like beware of the opposite sex and avoid misfortunes, and then belief in the unseen. That it doesn't seem like that should be the same card, but yeah, all of that in that one card, and so now I have to study this book. So what I'm going to do, this is my plan, is like I did with the other crap, this thing. What I'm going to do is go in there with the computer and type out my own synopsis. I don't need to memorize 10 keywords because I have 6 keywords for tarot cards. I don't memorize all those either. So I don't need 10 keywords. So I'm going to do what I do with my tarot. And for instance, we'll go back to that. So like the moon. Goals, desires, attractions, cycles, dreams, imaginations, recognitions, inspirations, intuitions, and artists. That's the moon card. So what we can do is cross out a whole bunch of those. And fame. Fame and recognition, to me, is the same thing. So cross one of those out. Imagination and dreams, intuition, to me, that is the same thing. Cross 2 of those out. Goals and desires, 2 of those I don't need. I just take 1 of those. Attractions, okay, fine. Cycles, artist, inspiration. Inspiration I don't need at all. If I got imagination, then that is inspiration, that is dreams, and that is intuition to me, because I understand that to be when you're talking about something in the head, that it always has something to do with intuition. So I don't need 150 keywords for one card. So I can cross a bunch of those out, memorize that 1 or 2, and then I got a clear picture of what it is I'm doing. That's just a project, and I just don't feel like doing it. But, which is sad, because I was in here the other day, bored to the back teeth, and I was like, I don't feel like doing this though. Like I need something to do. I almost went for a walk, but it was 2 o'clock in the morning. And black dude walking down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning is not a good combination in my area. So it's so I didn't do anything. Watched a bunch of old crap that I was already seeing. A bunch of I had like Keeping Up Appearances, and I had King of Queens, and I was just watching that over and over and over again, and I didn't even care about it. I was just watching it because I had nothing else to do. And so anyway, but I didn't feel like doing that. But that's the deck tour. I do love the Reverie Lenormand, and when I figure out what I'm doing here, I will get that one too, because like I said, the lady who made this one, Andrea Furtick, she made a Lenormand too, with the same African American imagery. And so I'm going to buy that one too. But I'll deal with that stuff later because I don't really need variety in Lenormand since I only use it once in a blue moon. Because I don't actually have the information I need to do it correctly. Because I do a Lenormand reading and then I get 100 emails correcting everything I just said. So, which is fair because, I'm not actually a Lenormand reader. Now, like the House of Lenormand, she got her stuff down pat, let me tell you. And she actually gave me a lot of tips too. And she said um, that she was a little apprehensive about sending me the information because she didn't think I would take it the right way, or she was hoping that I wouldn't take it the wrong way. And I'm like, no, first of all, you are the Lenormand master. And if you give me any, because I wanted to actually ask her, but I didn't want to impose. And so when she emailed me, I was like, yeah. I'm like, you are the Lenormand master. So whatever you say, I'm going to go with. I didn't learn tarot by myself either. So I don't mind asking for information. I do have a problem asking for help, though. I will say. Well, thank you, Karen, for staying up with me, though. I don't like asking for help, but I will ask for information, especially when it's something I like. I shouldn't put that there. Okay. Well, that's all I had anyway. Actually, we've finished all. What is it? 3 hours and 3.5 hours. Jesus. 120 likes though, so at least 120 people came in here. I'm very surprised. I came in late. 90 decks. 92. One is called Tarot Reverie, or no, Tarot Revival. The Revival Tarot, something like that. But it's basically a bunch of angels and things like that in there. I do have an angel deck, but that one's going to be about angels and things like that too. Thank you, Patty. And I have another one called Faces of Death. And it's very dark. Good night, Ian. And once I get those, which should be here next week, those are coming from Russia. And so it takes a while. Actually, that's not that long, what considering. Because they left out on the 27th, so they should be here around the 9th through the 12th or something like that. So I'm a little excited about that. I'm anxious to get them because they're very well done. But anywho, so I'm going to go to, I ain't got nothing else. 90 decks. I showed them all to you. I showed the Rider-Waite. Yeah, I did show the Rider-Waite because I have that too. I just have the nice one. I do have a very large one. It's like the size of this. It's huge. This is a greeting card. It's gigantic. That's the one I use for the tarot class. And so it is gigantic. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, so I was going to make a separate video, but I might just do it here. I probably will make a separate video so that way people can see what I'm going to say because it's going to, anybody going to watch 3 hours worth of this. Thank you. Yeah, that is my very first one. I had pizza yesterday. Kipper, no, I don't understand the Kipper cards. Oh yeah, and this is, I said this earlier, this is the one that I use, because I have, this is my very first one, is in this box, my original. I gotta have me some pizza now. And I use 2 court cards in here for personal readings, just in case the person you are and the person they are the same sign, or at least in the same element. Because one element has 3 different signs. Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus are all earth sign, or all Knight of Pentacle. So I have 2. Don't need 3 because that very, 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 very rarely happens. So that's all I got. I will see y'all, some of y'all, Saturday when me and Tallulah do our celebrity reading. Celebrity roast and gag, as they say in the streets. I'll see you then, and then I'll see you Sunday for Jen Lynn and I's on her channel. We will be on Jen Lynn's channel this week. And I will see y'all there. I need to make a quick video, which I will put up here tonight. So I'll see y'all in that video too. Now, how do I turn this off? Let's see. All right. Good night.